everyone sees the amazing beginning or the challenging beginning and the sharing of what's happened as you're starting something. But not a lot of people talk about the dirty middle, especially for people who are transitioning on their own passions and their dreams. Greetings and salutations. Wow, it's real. Here we are. We are really doing this. Welcome to the now. Welcome to the now. I'm Erwin Benedict Valencia, and this is just not another podcast that's on your list of things to check or see or listen to or now watch, especially in this day and age of videos. It's a calling. It's a reckoning. It's a remembering, I guess. So you're here right now because you want to be part of something that's bigger than you, something that lifts your spirit and your soul. It's the question that you have for yourself that asks, what is even more than this? What can I get more than this? What is there that's out there for me that's bigger than this? And I get it. I've been there before. And for those of you who don't know yet, I've lived really many lives. I was a Channel V VJ back in the days, more than 20 years ago. I know you may think that I'm old, but I'm not that old yet. I'm youthful at heart. And my telomeres, for those biohackers out there, tell that I'm in my early 30s and not at the 40s that I am right now. But back then, I was an MTV VJ, or at that time, Channel V, which was the MTV of Asia at that time. And I don't know what brought me to that situation, but I just felt like when I saw that ad on the TV, or even heard it on the radio as an ad saying that they were looking for the first ever Filipino VJ in the Philippines, I just couldn't help myself. So I called my carpool mate and I said, hey, before we go to school in these next couple of days, one of these days, can we stop by like an open field where I can shoot a video as an audition for this MTV VJ hunt? And she was like, what a crazy idea, but I like where you're going with this. So that day came. I handed her my, at that time, camcorder, for those of you who still remember what a camcorder is. And I decided to just explain why I should be the first Filipino VJ. I jumped around in the field. I did cartwheels. I rolled around and I did this little thing where I would look and said, I'm your first Filipino VJ because, and then I winked and did some crazy stuff. Needless to say, at the time, editing was a little bit more difficult. So we used like the VHS and the camcorder and I'd stick together. But my one, I think I have to say, favorite thing about making that video was the soundtrack that I used. And the song that I used was Salt and Pepper's What a Man. And that was one of the funniest things I've ever done. Needless to say, I didn't know whether or not my audition tape made it to the studios in Hong Kong. But one day, as I am watching TV, I see this list going up, and here are those who, thank you for submitting your audition tapes, but here is the top 100 who have made it to the next round of the Philippines' first ever VJ hunt. And next thing you know, I'm there on the list, and I couldn't believe it. I was not even sure, but it took a friend of mine, Rainey, to call me and said, dude, did you see your name on TV? And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And needless to say, that brought just a slew of emotions in my life to the point that I didn't even tell my parents that I did this. I literally just went to the top 100 audition and then in 2 days made it to not just the top 50, but the top 25. And at the end of 2 days, made it to the top 5. That top 5 now, we had to go to an island, and unfortunately, I had to finally tell my parents that I was going on this thing because I auditioned, and I would be interviewing some amazing artists on this island. And my parents didn't really know what to take of that or what to think of that, but I just went. Why? Because it was an opportunity of a lifetime. That said, it helped me gain the confidence to be on camera today. I think pushing that envelope, pushing that sense of discomfort for me allowed me to be like, hey, I'm in front of the camera. I'm able to share my deepest truths, desires, and be able to have other people share the same. And this is what this podcast is about. Being here, starting this, it's been works in the making. It's been 20 years in the making, even more than that. I'm not even going to tell you how old I really am or what year was that I was an MTV VJ. Also, I was a radio DJ for a radio station called RX 93.1 and then did all the graveyard shifts from like 10 to 2 a.m. and then still found myself at the hospital the next day, making sure I saw patients and taking care of them at the fullest extent. So needless to say, the creative side of me has always been intertwined with the scientific side of me. And that's always brought both chaos in my life because not understanding who I am at any period of time, but also brought in some amazing, passionate experiences that made me really see life in a different way. And so this podcast is a culmination of all of that. I know a lot of people are putting out podcasts nowadays, but this is something that I've been asked to do for a long time. I just haven't because of certain restrictions that I've had being that clinician, being that scientific guy. But I'm in that stage of my life that creativity has become an important part of it. And I feel like I can share my stories, my wisdom, as well as my friends and colleagues and those who inspire me to be able to share it to the rest of the world by being here, by being that clinician, that scientist, but also being that coach, that friend, that mentor, that teacher. And so I'm very honored and happy and blessed that I'm finally getting to do this. That said, this podcast is definitely something that I'm so excited about because welcome to the now was a phrase that I was using. Initially, it came to me, I used this when I was in sports, but it came to me one day after, I guess, my 40th birthday, when I spent about 3 weeks to a month in an ashram in India, in Pune. And one of their phrases was "be a witness," and one of those phrases that was being a witness means being present in the moment to see what's in front of you, not necessarily as a guru or anything like that, but somebody who sees another person for that present moment. And I learned a lot in that time. And even prior to that, I was always present. But it was this phrase that I came out with called "Welcome to the Now," that not only gave me this almost mantra that was my own, but it also allowed for some of my athletes that I work with to have something almost like as a cheering point to them to be like, welcome to the now. So they would see me like, yo, E, welcome to the now, which means it was an invitation for presence. So it is my hope that I get to share some stories of some amazing human beings and high performers for those who have reached the pinnacle of their lives and maybe found some shift, some pivot, some valley, as Lisa Nichols calls, that made them question who they are and what their purpose is. And by being on this podcast, it allows everyone to learn the dirty middle. Everyone sees the amazing beginning or the challenging beginning and the sharing of what's happened as you're starting something, and then seeing the end, the exit, the purchase, the acquisition, the success, the things you see on social media. But not a lot of people talk about the dirty middle, especially for people who are transitioning on their own passions and their dreams. And it's my hope that I share that dirty middle with everybody in a good way, with light, positivity, and of course, with gratitude. It's my dream that this podcast becomes a truly impactful platform for people to not only share their stories, but also inspire others, particularly in my homeland, in the Philippines, and everywhere else where people feel that they're going on this journey and not sure whether or not somebody's listening, and not sure whether or not it actually is possible. I'm here to tell you that the journey will be difficult, especially if it's something you truly, truly want. But in the end, it'll be all worth it. Why? Because it's something that's something that you love. And it'll help you push the most challenging times to find that success in whatever success means to you. There will be people playing musical instruments. There will be people singing. There will be people laughing. There will be people crying. But all in all, this is going to be one of those podcasts that's going to be different because I'm different. And the people I'm going to bring are going to be different. And it's my hope that through your feedback and reviews and letting me know who you'd like to see and what you'd like to hear will give me the ability to find those people, find those stories, so that then you, the viewer, the listener, will be able to know what it is that you can do in your own lives and find whatever that success means to you. So, thank you for listening in for this first episode of Welcome to the Now. Hope you enjoyed my little rant and banter, but we'll have some amazing guests coming in the next couple of episodes, as well as the next episodes after that. But for now, take a deep breath, stay grateful, and welcome to the now.